So, you've taken the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, or ASVAB, and you didn't get the score you were hoping for. Maybe you didn't meet the minimum requirement to enlist, or maybe you passed but you didn't score high enough for the job that you wanted. Either way, you're probably wondering, what now? Is that it? Do you have to give up on your military dreams? Short answer, absolutely not. Welcome to the U.S. Military Test Prep channel by Study.com. My name is Matt, and I'm a U.S. Army vet and an ASVAB test prep expert. Failing the ASVAB doesn't mean that you're out of options. In fact, it might just be the first step towards coming back stronger, smarter, and more prepared next time around. Today, we're going to walk you through exactly what happens if you fail the ASVAB, what it means for your future in the military, and most importantly, how to bounce back and crush it on your next try. Are you ready? Let's get into it. The ASVAB is a multiple-choice test used by all branches of the United States military to determine your eligibility to enlist and to match you with the right job roles. The ASVAB is actually made up of multiple subtests, and each one measures different skill areas. Depending on which version of the ASVAB that you take, there are 9 or 10 subtests in total, covering topics like arithmetic reasoning, word knowledge, math, electronics, and more. When you finish the test, you'll get scores to each of those areas. The one most people focus on is the Armed Forces Qualification Test, or AFQT score. That score is based on 4 specific sections of the ASVAB: word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, arithmetic reasoning, and mathematics knowledge. It's what determines whether or not you can even enlist in the first place. Each branch of the military sets its own minimum AFQT score requirement. The minimum score to enlist depends on the branch. Some branches accept lower scores and some require higher ones. Generally speaking, this is the way it works. A high school diploma or GED is typically required to qualify for most branches of the military. The required score can vary based on which credential you have. If you've passed the GED exam, you'll need to aim for a score of at least 50. With a high school diploma, minimum score of 31 for the Air Force, Army, and Navy and Marine Corps. The Coast Guard requires a 32. If your score falls below that minimum threshold, it's considered a non-qualifying score. That doesn't mean that you failed in the traditional sense, but it does mean that you'll have to retake the test if you want to try again. There's also the situation where you technically pass, but don't score high enough to qualify for the specific job that you had your eye on. So whether you completely missed the mark or just fell short of your personal goal, it's normal to feel disappointed, but it's not the end of the road. This one test can impact the job that you get, what kind of training you'll go through, and even your long-term trajectory in the military. But here's the good news. A low score isn't permanent. It's not etched in stone. And you're not alone. Tons of successful military members didn't pass the ASVAB on their first try. What matters is how you respond. Did you give up? Or did you regroup, focus, and try again with a better strategy? Failing the ASVAB doesn't mean that you're less capable. In fact, it's often just a sign that you weren't prepared in the right way. And that is fixable. You have options, and the more you understand these options, the faster you can get back on track. So let's break it down. If you don't get a qualifying score on the ASVAB, the first thing that you need to know is when you can retake it. There are rules. After your first attempt, you'll need to wait 30 days before you can take the test again. If you don't pass on your second attempt, you'll have to wait another 30 days for a third try. After that, if you still haven't passed, there's a mandatory 6-month wait before your 4th attempt. So while you do have multiple chances, it's not like you can retake it every week. That means it's important to use that waiting period wisely. A common myth is that failing the ASVAB once means that you won't be able to enlist in the future. Not true. Recruiters are used to working with applicants who need a second or even a third attempt. So what they care about is that you're serious about improving. Some branches even offer pre-ASVAB programs to help candidates raise their scores. So if you didn't pass, talk to your recruiter. They can help you figure out where you struggled and point you toward resources that target your weak areas. And here's something else to consider. Even if you passed but didn't get the score that you needed for your desired job, you still might be able to enlist with a different job assignment. This is where strategy comes in. Do you want to get your foot in the door now and try to change jobs later? Or do you want to wait, study harder, and aim for the score that gets you exactly what you want now? Both paths are valid. It just depends on your goals. So if you've got a gap between your next test date, what should you do with that time? This is where focused preparation comes in. First, look at your AFQT score breakdown. Identify which 4 sections gave you the most trouble: word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, arithmetic reasoning, or mathematics knowledge. Once you know your weak spots, you can build a smarter study plan. This is where a resource like Study.com's ASVAB study guide and test prep resources can make a huge difference. Instead of guessing what to review, you can follow personalized lessons that cover exactly what you need to work on. It also helps simulate the real testing environment. Take full-length, timed practice tests so you can build up your endurance and time management skills. The ASVAB isn't just about knowing the material. It's about staying calm and focused under pressure. And here's a tip that recruiters often recommend. Don't try to cram. Spacing your study out over a few weeks is way more effective than trying to learn everything in a couple of nights. And most importantly, make your study routine part of your daily schedule. Even 30 minutes a day can lead to big results. Another smart move is to ask your recruiter if they offer access to any preparatory programs. Some branches of the military offer free ASVAB tutoring, group classes, or diagnostic assessments that can point you in the right direction. If you show that you're motivated to improve, they're more likely to go the extra mile to help you succeed. Failing the ASVAB or not hitting the score you wanted is not the end of the line. It's just a setback, and a temporary one at that. You can retake the test. You can study smarter. You can come back stronger and more confident. What makes the difference is how you respond. Use your waiting period to regroup, take a hard look at what tripped you up, and build a study plan that actually works for you. Talk to your recruiter, use every resource available, and don't try to do it alone. Study.com has everything you need to focus on your prep, build your confidence, and get that score that opens doors. If this video helped you out, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment with any questions or topics you want for us to cover in the future, and don't forget to subscribe for more US military test prep content. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.